She was a level-headed dancer on the road to alcohol, and I was just a soldier on my way to Montreal. Well, she pressed her chest against me about the time the jukebox broke. Yeah, she gave me a peck on the back of the neck, and these are the words she spoke. Blow up your TV, throw away your paper, go to the country, build you a home, plant a little garden, eat a lot of peaches, try and find Jesus on your own. We all sat there at the table and I acted real naive, for I knew that topless lady had something up her sleeve. Well, she danced around the barroom and she did the hoochie coo. Yeah, she sang her song all night long, telling me what to do. Blow up your TV, throw away your paper, go to the country, build you a home, plant a little garden, eat a lot of peaches, try and find Jesus on your own. Well, I was young and hungry and about to leave that place, when just as I was leaving, well, she looked me in the face. I said, you must know the answer. She said, no, but I'll give it a try. And to this very day, we've been living our way. Here is the reason why. We blew up our TV, blew away our paper, went to the country, built us a home, had a lot of children, fed them on peaches. They all found Jesus on now. Thank you. Thank you. I have to tell you folks to pardon my back. It's not a whole lot more interesting than my front, but this way you get to use your imagination. There's a song about imagination. Matter of fact, it's the first time I knew it was a song about imagination. Just ran right into it, just like that. It's about a couple of lovers that never got a chance to meet. One of them's a soldier named Donald, and the other one's a girl, lives in a little bitty town outside of the army camp where Donald's stationed. And they've been admiring each other for a long time, you know, but they never got the chance to meet. Nobody ever introduced them to each other. That didn't stop them, though. Small town, bright lights, Saturday night, pinballs and pool halls flashing their lights, making change behind a counter in a penny arcade sat the fat girl daughter of Virginia and Ray. Lydia hid her thoughts like a cat behind her small eyes, sunk deep in her fat. She read romance magazine up in her room and felt just like Sunday on Saturday afternoon. But dreaming just comes natural, like the first breath from a baby, like sunshine feeding daisies, like love hidden deep in your heart. Bunk beds, shaved heads, Saturday night, a warehouse of strangers with 60-watt lights, staring through the ceiling, just wanting to be, lay one of too many, a young PFC. Donald. There were spaces between Donald and whatever he said. Strangers had forced him to live in his head. He envisioned the details of romantic scenes after midnight in the stillness of the barracks latrine. But dreaming just comes natural, like the first breath from a baby, like sunshine feeding daisies, like the love hidden deep in your heart. Hot love, cold love, no love at all. A portrait of guilt is hung on the wall. Nothing is wrong, nothing is right. Donald and Lydia made love at night. Love. They made love in the mountains, they made love in the streams, they made love in the valleys, they made love in our dreams. But when they were finished, there was nothing to say, 'cause mostly they made love from 10 miles away. But dreaming just comes natural, like the first breath from a baby, like sunshine feeding daisies, like love hidden deep in your heart. Sam Stone came home to his wife and family after serving in the conflict overseas. And the time that he served had shattered all his nerves and left a little shrapnel in his knee. But the morphine eased the pain, and the grass grew around his brain and gave him all the confidence he lacked. With a purple heart and a monkey on his back, there's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes. Jesus Christ died for nothing, I suppose. Little pitchers half big ears, don't stop to count the years. Sweet songs never last too long on broken radios. Sam Stone's welcome home didn't last too long. He went to work when he'd spent his last dime, and Sammy took to stealing when he got that empty feeling for $100 habit without overtime. And the gold rolled through his veins like 1,000 railroad trains, and eased his mind in the hours that he chose, while the kids ran around wiring up people's clothes. There's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes. Jesus Christ died for nothing, I suppose. Little pitchers have big ears, don't stop to count the years. Sweet songs never last too long on broken radios. Sam Stone was alone when he popped his last balloon, climbing walls while sitting in a chair. Well, he played his last request while the room smelled just like death, with an overdose pouring in the air. But life had lost its fun, there was nothing to be done but trade his house that he bought on the GI Bill for a flag draped casket on a local hero's hill. There's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes. Jesus Christ died for nothing, I suppose. Little pitchers have big ears, don't stop to count the years. Sweet songs never last too long on broken radios. Thank you. This is a song about a small town down in western Kentucky. Sits down in Muhlenberg County on the Green River. And the name of the town was Paradise. My mother and father come from there, and they left there when they was about 17. You know, they got married and moved up to Chicago so my father could find work. And they raised me and my three brothers up in Chicago, but they always considered Paradise to be home. So we ended up spending a lot of time traveling back and forth between Chicago and Paradise. You know, Paradise is just a little bitty place. There's only maybe 48 or 49 people living there, you know, at one time. And they were all relatives of ours. There's not a whole lot else to do besides become relatives to each other. About 6 years ago, Peabody Coal and Mining Company came down Muhlenberg County and they strip mine the whole area. You know, that's when they take the coal off the top of the land. And when they get all through, they just leave it like that. It doesn't look real pretty. It kind of looks like the moon, you know. You know how ugly the moon is. It's one of the most disappointing things I've ever seen. I was expecting Judy Garland or something. When I was a child, my family would travel down to western Kentucky where my parents were born. And there's a backwards old town that's often remembered so many times that my memories are worn. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where Paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. Well, sometimes we travel right down the Green River to the abandoned old prison down by Adria Hill, where the air smelled like snakes and we'd shoot with our pistol, but an empty pop bottle was all we would kill. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where Paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is hauled away. Then the coal company came with the world's largest shovel, and they tortured the timber and stripped all land. Well, they dug for the coal till the land was forsaken. Then they wrote it all down as a progress man. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is hauled away. Now when I die, let my ashes float down the Green River, and let my soul roll on up to the Rochester Dam. I'll be halfway to heaven with paradise waiting, just 5 miles away from wherever I am. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. Thank you. There's a song here me and Francis Scott Key wrote together, you know. I don't know if you know it or not, but he hasn't had a hit in about 200 years, you know. Me and him got together, write a song about a kid that went out looking for America, you know. At the time, it was a real original idea, you know. And the first place this kid walked into, he found her, America, that is, you know. It was a little bitty bar, and he saw this girl sitting in the corner all by herself. That's how come he knew that she was America, you know, because she was all by herself, you know. And he felt kind of sorry for her, so he walked over, asked her out to a drive-in movie. You know, that was the most American thing he could think of at the time to do. And that's what this song's about. Sometimes this is called she was only an Okie from Muskogee, and I was a Bell Creek freak. I knew a girl who was almost a lady. She had a way with all the men in her life, every inch of her blossom and beauty, and she was born on the 4th of July. Well, she lived in an aluminum house trailer, and she worked in a jukebox saloon, and she spent all the money that I gave her just to see the old man in the moon. I used to sleep at the foot of Old Glory and awake in the dawn's early light. But much to my surprise, when I opened my eyes, I was a victim of the great compromise. Well, we'd go out on Saturday evenings to the drive-in on Route 41, and it was there that I first suspected that she was doing what she'd already done. said, Johnny, won't you get me some popcorn? And she knew I had to walk pretty far. And as soon as I passed through the moonlight, she hopped into a foreign sports car. I used to sleep at the foot of Old Glory and awake in the dawn's early light. But much to my surprise, when I opened my eyes, I was a victim of the great compromise. This verse here is dedicated to Tex Ritter, because Tex is the only singer around and really knows how to do these verses justice, you know. I'm gonna do it though. Well, you know, I could have beat up that fella, but it was her that had hopped into his car. And many times I'd fought to protect her, but this time she was going too far. Now some folks, they call me a coward. Probably left her at the drive-in that night, but I'd rather have names thrown in than to fight for a thing that ain't right. Thank you, Tex. I used to sleep at the foot of Old Glory and awaken on the dawn's early light. But much to my surprise, when I opened my eyes, I was a victim of the great compromise. Well, she writes all the fellas love letters, saying greetings, come and see me real soon. And to go and line up on the barroom and spend the night in that sick woman's room. But sometimes I get awful lonesome, and I wish she was my girl instead. But she won't let me live with her, and she makes me live in my head. I used to sleep at the foot of Old Glory and awaken on the dawn's early light. But much to my surprise, when I opened my eyes, I was a victim of the great compromise. Thank you. Hold on, I'm gonna do one more here. There's a story about a fellow went out and got himself a new boat, and it was the first boat he ever had, so he was pretty excited when he got it. As soon as he got hold of it, he took it right out and on the ocean, you know, and he's out sailing around all over the place with it. He didn't know it, but it happened to be the same day that Christ was out walking around on the water. This is the first time Christ ever walked around on water, so he was pretty excited too, you know. So both of them being as excited as they were, neither one of them were watching where they were going to. You know? This guy ran over him, knocked him down. As soon as he realized just exactly who he'd knocked over, he said, "Oh my God." Then he turned the boat around real fast and went back and scooped him up, pulled him up, laid him out on the deck, and just stood there looking at him. Turns out nobody'd heard from Christ in years and years and years and years and years and years. You know. Some people saw his shroud once a year on educational television, you know. That was about it. Rolling Stone couldn't even get an interview with him, you know. So this guy figured he'd do a little freelancing, and he's trying to think up a couple of good questions to ask him when he come to. Y'all set, band? This is my band back here. Their instruments are at the airport. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. While out sailing on the ocean, while out sailing on the sea, I bumped into the Savior, and he said, "Pardon me." I said, "Jesus, you look tired." He said, "Jesus, so do you. Won't you sit down, son, 'cause I got some fat to chew." You see, everybody needs somebody that they can talk to, someone to open up their ears and let that trouble through. Now you don't have to sympathize or call what they may do, but everybody needs somebody that can talk to. Well, he spoke to me of morality, starvation, pain and sin. Matter of fact, the whole dang time I only got a few words in. But I won't squawk, let them talk. Hell, it's been a long, long time, and any friend that's been turned down is bound to be a friend of mine. 'Cause everybody needs somebody that they can talk to, someone to open up their ears and let that trouble through. Now you don't have to sympathize or call what they may do, but everybody needs somebody that can talk to. Now we sat there for an hour or two just eating that gospel pie. Went around the bend from a terrible wind and lightning lit the sky. He said, "So long, son, I gotta run. I appreciate you listening to me." And I believe I heard him sing these words as he skipped out across the sea. Everybody needs somebody that they can talk to, someone to open up their ears and let that trouble through. Now you don't have to sympathize or call what they may do, but everybody needs somebody that can talk to. Everybody needs somebody that can talk to. Thank you a whole lot. I appreciate it.